there are so many times that we act out of emotion. We let our anxiousness or our anger, we let that consume us, and then we make a decision that we regret. Welcome back to another episode of Not Overthinking It. I'm Elizabeth, your host, and if you're new here, I am a 23-year-old postgraduate living in San Diego, just trying to build her dream life while working that 9 to 5. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm going to get into the real topic of today's video, and that is my mantras for living life. And this prompt comes from this journal I have called Burn After Writing. I really like it for getting to know yourself more and realizing what your own opinions are, because a lot of the times we obviously take into account other people's thoughts, like what are they going to think about me, but the point of this journal is like literally act as if you're burning this book. Nobody is reading it. I mean, should be the case for a lot of journals and diaries. I don't think a lot of people read it, but yeah, the intention is like, okay, you're burning this after writing, so be honest. You can't lie, and if you're lying, you're just lying to yourself. I'll read the back. Tumblr, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the world has become one giant confessional. In a reversal of this trend, Burn After Writing encourages you to share nothing. With its incisive questions and thought experiments, this private journal challenges you to play a game of truth or dare with yourself. Push your limits, reflect on your past, present, and future. Create a secret book that's about you, just for you. So I've wrote a lot. Some of the questions really stumped me, and I'm like, wow, does this mean I need to self-reflect more? One of the journal prompts was your mantras for living life, and I thought that was like a really nice topic of today's video. And this is also very in line with my weekend trip, because I was walking with my aunt and she asked me I told her I had a podcast, and honestly, this will be another story, but I don't really like to share my social media goals with like my family. Not goals, but you know what I mean? Saying that, oh, I post YouTube, I post podcasts. It's just kind of like, cute, honey, but why? And like, what are you gonna do with your life? I mean, everyone pretty much knows that I want to make Girl Gains a full-time career and a really rock solid brand. Also growing my own platforms, like especially podcasts, I really get enjoyment and energy out of it. But just explaining that to people that obviously don't know, they came from a different generation, so they don't know the possibilities of the internet and other lifestyle or career options now. They are still in the mindset that, oh, owning your own business is really difficult and you probably shouldn't do that. You should work for someone else and you would make a more substantial living. I think that is where their mindset is. So when I share, this is not actually, now that I have the realization, my parents are not included. They're always so supportive of me because they both own their own business. So I think that's honestly why. People are only going to understand as much as they've been exposed to, and a lot of people grow up with like, it's just the fact of life. You are raised a certain way, so you're gonna have a certain belief, and until you see proof that something else is possible, then you're always gonna believe that one thing. So yeah, I get wary sharing my goals with people because I don't want them to insert their own insecurities about it on me, if that makes sense. Like, question it, make me doubt it as well, which I feel like I'm pretty strong-minded. I don't know. I'm pretty much like, at this point, I can do whatever I want. I can do anything I set my mind to. Mantras for living life. I would say number one, this isn't going to be in order after number one, but number one, every single thing is a learning lesson. Every moment, every interaction, every chance to just sit by yourself is a learning lesson. And the moment I realized that, I was able to appreciate people and interactions and just experiences way more. It's not even about like, oh, I don't want to be here, I want to be somewhere else, because then boom, there's your learning lesson. What can you learn in that moment? You need to learn to be more present, because this could have been a moment that you have been asking for and waiting for, and now that it's finally here, you're waiting for the next best thing. You need to learn to just sit and enjoy the present, because for as long as you are unhappy with this moment, the next moment is going to feel the same exact way. And even with interactions with people, oh, I don't want to talk to this person. Oh, this person is not the type of person like I want to be friends with. Okay, fine, you don't have to be friends with them, but what can you learn from them? Every single person has something to teach you. And it's just about removing your ego and allowing yourself to ask questions and put yourself in a place where you're okay to receive information. A lot of the time we're like, oh, we already know. Oh, that person has nothing to teach me. I don't get the learning lesson, but there's always a learning lesson if you look for it. Even to the point where if I'm angry or sad, whatever the emotion, just uncomfortable, I will feel that emotion and be like, what is the learning lesson here? Or what can I do with this emotion that is so uncomfortable for me to have? And most of the time, I come to the realization that if my end goal or just mission in life is I want to help people and I want to make them feel important, because we all want to feel important, then I need to understand the feelings that everyone else goes through as well, be able to work through it so that I can help somebody else go through it. And I think too, that's why I'm a very big empath. Empath? Yeah. And when somebody feels sad, like literally multiple times, my friends have just been venting and you can feel their emotions in their voice and their, even if to the point of they're crying, like I will literally tear up or cry too, because I just know what they're going through, and I would never be able to empathize with them if I hadn't experienced those emotions to some degree on my own. So everything is a learning lesson. Number 2, act on your ideas. I cannot stress this enough. There are so many things that I've done that maybe aren't the norm or nobody else around me is doing, and I'm like, is this just, like, if nobody else is doing it, why would I do it? Maybe it doesn't work, or maybe it's not a good idea. No, people just, like, they're just not you, you know? Like, if you have an idea, then you need to act on it, and you never know where it's going to take you. Even if it doesn't end up being revolutionary or a good idea, then at least you, again, learned from it, because everything is a learning lesson, going back to number 1. So act on your ideas. For me, wasn't even going to start Girl Games, thought it was a dumb idea. Not dumb, but, oh, this isn't a thing, maybe, like, why isn't it a thing? And I've been reading a book called Mastery, and he talks about all the inventions in history. People didn't even know that was possible until one person came along and showed them it was. Like the invention of the light bulb, the invention of internet, like even the iPhone. Like people didn't even know something like that was possible. But if you have that idea planted in your brain, then I would totally leap into it and just see where it takes you. Number 3, invest in yourself. I always preach this, but if you are not full, then you cannot pour into other people. You need to put yourself first before anyone else. They say it on planes. Put your oxygen mask on before your kids. It's not selfish to prioritize yourself and make sure that you're fed so that you can pour into other people. That is like, I really believe the purpose of life is to be able to like help other people and connect, but you can't do that if you're just burnt out, drained, not prioritized. It just is going to reflect onto your other relationships. Literally, people that I interact with, I can tell if they are on top of their shit, they're more present with me, if that makes sense. Like, they're able to give more, they're able to be better friends. Like, I notice when my friend is burnt out, she's not able to like be responsive. She's not bringing her full energy, and that's the case with everyone, right? So always invest in yourself. I would say every single day, if you can, journal, read. What is the thing that you want to do? Put your lotion on, do your little skincare routine. Make it about you and your time. And even in that, invest in your education too, like, or invest in experiences for yourself. Like, I went to a leadership summit in LA, and it was something that I was wanting to go to, but I was like, I don't know if I want to spend the money, whatever. But I was like, you know what? This is an investment. What can I get out of it? I think about risk versus reward. The reward of going and being able to hear from ambitious women and get inspiration is way higher than like the loss of that $100 or whatever much it was. Number 4, be selfless and kind, in that at the end of the day, like if you have a bunch of problems, I saw this, I think, from Alex Ramosi, but he's saying that if you are feeling so stuck in your own world, you have a problem, you don't know what to do, like you feel like you're overwhelmed by all these tasks, when in doubt, just help others. Go volunteer. Go help solve someone else's problem. Go help your friends. Do something that takes your mind off of your problems for a moment. It's not to like minimize your problems, but it just gets you out of that headspace, and then you're able to just serve and provide for somebody else, and it feels freaking good. And I've noticed that for myself too. If I feel so caught up in my life, I'm like, no, let me just stop, and I'm going to go help somebody who has been asking me for help. I've really, like, this one is just such a game changer for me, and I feel like I'm not able to like articulate it that well right now. Be kind and selfless. When in doubt, see how you can be of service to someone else. Volunteer. It makes all the difference. Number 6. I'm sorry, I don't even know. We'll keep the count up here. Everything is borrowed. I freaking love this realization. Every single thing is borrowed, from the point of like your clothes, the place you live, the things that you have are all borrowed. And when you have that mindset, then you're able to let it go and give it to the next person. So for example, like if you have an attachment to things, like you tend to hoard things. Oh, but I don't know what if I wear this again? But then you're like, oh no, everything's borrowed anyways. Like the things that we have, nothing is permanently ours. And if we acknowledge that and honor that, we can let it go and give it to the next person. In tying into that is that everything is an exchange of energy. So, yeah, you're getting rid of your clothes, but in exchange, you're feeling lighter, you have less things, you are able to release some clothes that, or some space that wasn't serving you anymore. And then in exchange, you also got gratification for knowing that it's going to a better place and that somebody else is going to be able to enjoy it. And I have that same mindset with my food. Like, I used to be very stingy, I guess, because I live with a brother and he doesn't want to share with me. And so I just adopted that mindset too. Like, okay, well, fine, this is my stuff too. But from growing up, I've been surrounded by so many giving people who like give me so much, like to where I'm shocked and I'm like, wow, like what's the catch? But there's no catch, because it's just genuinely fulfilling for them, and they are able to help me, and it just makes them feel good. And for me, that inspires me to like want to do the same for other people. And I've been around, again, like I said, my brother, or like my friends, some of my friends have been really stingy, like, don't touch my stuff. I'm not going to offer you food when you walk in the door. Like, this is my food. So now I know what I want to be like and what I don't want to be like. And I will now just like make an effort to see if anyone needs anything extra. Like, oh, do you guys want some food? Like, I have a ton of groceries in the fridge. Take what you want. Help yourself. That kind of mentality. Or like, oh, you need a hair tie? Like, here, have mine. Like, I don't need it. Just don't even bother giving it back to me. You know what I mean? So everything's borrowed, and always be selfless and kind. Okay, next one. What's meant for me will never pass me by. 100% believe this. I feel like a lot of the times I try to force things to happen, but then I realize the power of just relaxing, and if it's meant for me, it will come to me. And that has always been the case. And there has never been an instance where I wanted something that I didn't get that wasn't for the right reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I wanted something but it didn't come to me, it's because that thing wasn't gonna help me, or it maybe would have hurt me. So instead, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put in the work. That doesn't take away from, like, you should still try and put in the effort in defining your goals and work towards them. But if your goals manifest in ways that are different from how you need them to be, or like want them to be, then it's for a reason. And like, the things that are meant to come to you will find you. The people will find you. I've even said this in the last episode, I'm pretty sure, but my friend group and we always say, if we had met a year earlier, we probably wouldn't be friends, because it wasn't the right time and we weren't in the right headspace to be able to appreciate a friendship like that. But obviously, like, in that time, we're not like, I mean, some of us might have been, wow, like, we need to force friendships and we need to find friends, we need to make it happen now. But it really was like, we just were ourselves, relaxed, and it came to us. Okay, next one. Don't judge the moment. This is one that Ali Abdaal sent in his newsletter, and it's literally like, nothing is good or bad. He really caught me off guard, because he said, like, say you're eating a sandwich and you're gonna immediately think, is this sandwich good or bad? Oh, the sandwich isn't as good as the sandwich I had yesterday. Or, oh, the sandwich is good, but it could use this. No, like, do not judge any moment, because that is what's gonna lead you to, like, unhappiness or, like, not being satisfied, right? If I'm like, no, I want to take it for what it is what it is. Like, it could be better, sure, but I'm not, why would I think like that? Take everything for what it is. We don't need to assign labels to things, you know? I just feel like it makes a thing more enjoyable if we just accept it and appreciate it. And even like my aunt, I noticed, she'll be like, no, it wasn't supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be like, we're supposed to be on time. We're supposed to be parked here. This parking spot is not good. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm like, it's literally fine. I promise. Like, let's just go with the flow and accept the moment for what it is, so that we can appreciate it and be in the moment. Okay, next one. This kind of goes into everything as learning lesson, but always be curious about other people specifically. I'm very curious naturally. I like to ask a lot of questions, but when you're in a conversation with someone, just be curious about them. Instead of thinking like, oh, I need to prove my knowledge to them, or I need to make it about me, be curious about them, ask them questions, and in turn, like, you'll be able to share about yourself too. But I think just like starting it off with asking them, having them show pictures of, what they're interested in, what are their hobbies, and you'll be surprised of what you will get out of that as well. We as humans just need to grow, and that will lead to fulfillment. Like, we need to feel like we are reaching heights. We need to feel like we are progressing, growing, and what comes with growing is learning. Literally, as long as you are learning something new, then you are growing. You are expanding your knowledge. And that is so in our control. There are just certain things in the external world that are out of our control that we might want for ourselves, but maybe it won't happen that way. But what we can control is our knowledge and our ability to absorb new information, learn, and like rewire or question the beliefs that we have. Last one. This is one that's pretty tangible for you if you struggle with this, but never make anxious decisions. You should always make your decisions in a calm state. There are so many times that we act out of emotion. We let our anxiousness or our anger, sadness, whatever, we let that consume us, and then we make a decision that we regret. And I know something is a right decision. I will never have regret if I know that the decision was made from a place of calm. Your intuition is always calm. Do you ever just like have a voice? You just hear a voice and you're like, it's very peaceful, it's very rational, and it makes sense. For example, if I've ever been like, I need to prove this to somebody, or I need to like respond to this comment, I need to like mainly like a hate comment, or I need to like hurry up and post this trend or else it's not going to be a trend anymore. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to do it then. If I'm going to be that anxious about something, then it's a bad idea. If it's a negative anxious, there are some feelings where you're like excited, and that's different, but it should never feel like a bad emotion and then where afterwards you're like, ugh, I don't know, I shouldn't have done that. Never make anxious decisions. Best rule I've ever created for myself. But yeah, those are my mantras for living life. I'll reiterate them before I go. Everything is a learning lesson. Always act on your ideas. Invest in yourself first. Be kind and selfless. Everything is borrowed. What's meant for me will never pass me by. Don't judge the moment. Always be curious. Never make anxious decisions. Thank you for watching or listening to today's episode. I hope this inspired you or helped you in some way. I would love to know what rules you live by. I honestly live by more, but that can be another episode. And yeah, I just have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of learning lessons, surprisingly, for my age, which I love to share. And I love to hear everyone else's perspectives and ways of life because I'm still learning. And even last night, I learned something new about myself that I didn't even realize. So I love that. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching, listening. Appreciate you being here and supporting. If you enjoyed, please rate wherever you're at and leave a comment. Until next week, bye.